Hi folks, and welcome to Thrive, the podcast from the John Good Group, looking at the good, bad and ugly of family businesses. And you join me this year hosting the Chiefs Christmas special, where we have a little look at what happened in 2025 and a look ahead to 2026. You find me joined by Ben Norman, Chief Financial Officer, Rachel Lowe, Chief People Officer, and last but certainly not least, Rich Quelch, Chief Marketing Officer. So go and get a drink, sit back, enjoy, and I will see you on the other side. So whose idea was the jumpers? Let's just get it out there. Let's address it straight away.
It was last year, wasn't it, when we'd filmed? I'm sure you made a comment about getting stitched up with us all wearing a Christmas jumper with your face on it. I think that's where the idea came from. So,
and who actually executed the idea this year?
Rich.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Now, all right, okay.
No loyalty. Let's just.
Well, I was going to say I got Ben on mine, but I'm going to say it was Rach instead that I've got here. Not saying you're a cow at all in any way, shape, or form. But this is definitely Rach on here, yeah, for sure.
We engineered it in the back of Steve Pullen's car.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Me and Megan at sea.
Nice. Oh, so Megan was involved as well.
She was the slogan queen, because originally it said, all we want for Christmas is you.
Which is a bit weird.
Which we thought was a bit odd, yeah.
I quite like it if Ben had it on his top, but you would be weird. Rach is normal, that's fine. Right, so we're here. It's a year on. We've had a series...
I keep looking, I keep seeing your bedroom.
Well, I don't know where to look. Who do you think it's most weird for? You or me?
You're coming all a bit closer.
Do we sell these jumpers? Is this a new business
We
idea?
bought 3 and I think there'll be 0% sales.
We're going to put on Vinted.
Feels like methods.
It's too ribcage.
Get in there early. We'll blank that bit out. So we're here on a year. It's more or less a year to the day since we filmed our review of 2024. Mm-hmm. We've now gone through another 365 days. 2025 is just about in the bag. And so I thought I'd start with asking you all, what's been the highlight of the year? What's been the standout moment? I'm going to come to Rich last. I'm going to put Ben on the spot.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's hear it. What's been the big one from this year for you?
I wouldn't say it was necessarily a moment, but I think it's the fair. We've talked kind of for the last few years about kind of we've done a lot every year. Mm-hmm. This year has very much been more about kind of integration from last year. And I think actually for me, it's seeing performance coming from all the divisions and the overall performance of the group this year on the back of everything that happened last year, that we're still performing well, I think has been my highlight.
Okay. Performance, like it. Rach?
I think it's been, obviously the integration's been really key this year, and how we've seen the people coming in, settling in. Obviously, it's still a way to go in terms of the stuff that we need to do. I also think seeing so many people recognised through some external awards, through the work that they're doing, no names mentioned.
We'll come to Ben's awards, I think, in a little while. We need to have a spotlight on Ben.
Straight over that.
We're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, he's so kind of shy and reserved, and to see Ben come away with some awards was great.
Okay.
I would say actually the WFA final and semi-finals at the Derby Arena, we took that to another level and supported the WFA team to be able to put together an event that actually could and would and did break records when it came to attendances. That was the largest ever WFA or power chair football game in the UK. Is that right?
I think it's right, yeah.
That's right. But even more exciting, the fact that we are going to take it another level into 26. So that for me is probably a big highlight, just the fact that we've maintained that partnership and that's to a point where that's actually going in the right direction, and seeing that grow has been lovely.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd have to echo that, actually. My highlight is this year was seeing the Derby Day, seeing some of the ideas gain some traction, driving that amazing attendance outcome, which was cool. But then working with the team behind the scenes on the new trophy, the new format for the semi-finals, now final at Derby, and working with the WFA team to restructure that into an entire organisation, funded by us and the work we're doing, but working together with that team. I think that's been probably my standout this year, for sure. So we'll stick to the very traditional agenda, shall we, for this conversation? 3 Ps, people, planet, performance.
Yeah.
We'll start with people. I think we've mentioned a bit of people around the table already. So Ben, take us through your awards. You award winner. Look at that.
Smoldering already.
He's so happy with himself.
Sort of cheeks going
One,
red.
two, and that's it, done.
Come on,
Tell
you
us
can give
about
us a
your
bit more
speech.
than that.
I think, to be fair, this year for me, it was great. Kind of, from a personal point, it's great to kind of be recognised. But for me, it was, I suppose, if I look at the journey the group's been on, but actually, particularly the finance team over the last 3 or 4 years, and kind of where we were, kind of back when we all came together as a team to where we are today. I think it is actually, as much as anything, it's the recognition of the overall finance team for all the hard work and what everyone has helped us deliver and get us into the position we are.
Mm-hmm. But what did you actually win your awards for?
It
Stop
was
trying to dodge the question and give glory away to other people. What did you win your awards for?
so it was finance director in a family business for both Yorkshire and the Northern FD Awards.
Okay, great. And what would be your one key takeaway now that you've won an award?
Make sure you prep to think of something to say before you get there, so that when it gets thrown on you, you've got to say something. You kind of
I would
actually
definitely
kind of
echo that.
answer something
Have some
more
stock
logical
lines
rather
that
than
you can give away.
Yes.
Is definitely the way.
rather than when it gets thrown on you just beforehand. You need to say a few words, and you go, "Oh shit."
Yep. And Rach, you had a similar experience.
I did.
Do you want to talk us through it?
Yes, so we were we were shortlisted for 2 national awards and the Yorkshire HR Excellence Awards, and we came away with the Purpose Beyond Profit Award at the Yorkshire HR Excellence event back in October, I think it was. And a bit like Ben, just before they did the awards, they announced that you had to do a speech. We were the second award. Well, we were up for the first 2, but obviously the second one came. We announced that we were the winners. That panic then set in, going, what do I say? Which my mind went blank. It was a load of waffle, and I held on for dear life to the microphone as though it was my best friend.
You did a good job. I was there. You did really well.
I just felt like
it was off the cuff. There was no. It was the fact that you hadn't prepped for that. You were quite fluid in your delivery, so I actually think you're beating yourself
You
up.
do just need a few stock lines that you can
Yeah.
trot out. Roll out 3 Ps. You know, there's some of these bits and pieces that you can just lean into. I'm surprised you didn't send Rich up.
Well, nobody came. Well, I had to drag
Oh,
Michelle
really?
up with me.
Well,
They
no,
all
you
sat down.
bottled it. The big
No, but that was
moment.
HR awards.
It
It wasn't a general thing. It was a HR specific. So actually,
But knowing what you knew, you could have gone up and taken one for the team because you're great at public speaking.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's fine. But
You had to
you
look
did a
after
good
the
job.
table, didn't you? So
I love it just
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It was a good job. It was a good job. You did a good job.
thank you.
For someone that is so confident about their public speaking, you were quite nervous the other night with your
Oh,
video playing.
great
at
link.
it was a good link, wasn't it? At the Hay Business Awards. I very rarely see you look anxious,
Yeah.
but you were anxious. Talk to me about that. That's not you.
I think there's a couple of things. One, because I chipped my tooth 2 weeks prior, so when
Yeah.
I got filmed, I was trying to hide the fact that I had a chipped tooth.
Okay.
So that was anxiety.
And how did you do
Around
that?
Yeah, do you want to show the viewers, how you covered your...
Well, no.
No,
we,
how did
we
you
need
do
to go,
your tooth?
No, but we need to go with the line because on the insurance document it says I was elbowed in the face. So we need to...
and we're sticking to that.
Sticking to that.
Insurers, in case you see it. We are sticking to Rich got elbowed. Who did you get elbowed by, Rich? Tell us more.
It was a centre half on the football pitch.
Was it really?
Yeah. Am I going red?
Yeah, you are going a bit red. How's your football going this year? I didn't think you played much.
He doesn't. He just stands there and shouts at everybody else.
And I don't deny
That's
that.
normal.
Moving swiftly on. So
No, don't. Let's go back.
But yeah, I stepped in because normally it would be something you would do.
True.
And you weren't available at the time, so I said I'd step up and do it. And it was filming to essentially on the night they film all the finalists and they explain why they've been made finalists and the reasons for being and the achievements. And I don't know, it's something when you see something on the public screen and you just kind of criticise yourself slightly and go, oh, did I say the right things? Do I come across like a bit of a numpty? All that kind of stuff goes through your head. And then actually when it was played, I came out all right and it looked all right and it sounded okay. And I felt like I did you justice because you would start talking about 3 Ps and profitability. And I thought, do you know what? I've done all right.
You know,
I thought you did a great job.
But I'm glad that you've seen the anxiety around my eyeballs.
You definitely look scared. The problem I think with doing any of those set pieces recordings is, in the moment, you say what you say, and then you sort of forget how you said it and what you said.
That's it.
And then most of the time in life, you can say things and no one ever replays it. You don't know what your expression on your face was like.
That's correct.
And then you have to watch it back. So rates you're panicking or you're feeling anxious about it because you said something, but you can't actually remember it. It's not recorded and it will go away. So it's in your mind. But when you hear it back, you're like, oh, did I really say that? Did it really sound like that? But that's why I don't like listening or watching back anything that we do. And that's not any sort of comment on the quality of the stuff that we do. I just don't like watching it back because I'm like, feels all right in the moment. I'll deal with it being all right. But yeah, I do think you get anxious. And let's face it, it was on 2 massive screens as well. And you know half the people in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
And those people are all going to take the piss out of you if you mess it up. Right?
Yeah. But it's a bit like, obviously from coaching with Dean, that was one of my biggest things, is how do I get that moment where I think, oh my gosh, I've just messed something up out of my head. And it's being able to pull out a more positive kind of DVD out of your head. And that's something that keeps sticking in my head from him at the minute, to push it away, because there's other positives where you might think it was a negative.
Yeah. Just for any younger viewers, DVDs are how we used to watch films.
Or videos, whatever you want to call them, VHS.
Tapes,
yeah. It's like you're constantly replaying it because it's in your head all the time, but actually just pushing it away and thinking of another event where it was positive for you that can kind of overwrite that.
DVD. Do you know what I think the best award that we won this year was? It was the one that Matthew Good Foundation won. Yeah. Was it the third sector charity awards for the corporate foundation? We went into a number of awards this year, probably the most we've ever been into, to try and represent the people and some of the different work that's gone on during the fast forward period, which has been our strategic period for the last 4 years now. And we had mixed success, some individual stuff and other bits and pieces. But that was one where we genuinely were up against what you'd say is national/international class competition. And to win that one versus that peer group, I thought was exceptional. And for ultimately Tim and the Good family, but Michelle and Kirsty and others that have been involved in that journey. Kevin Harrison's been involved more or less from the get-go. Yeah, I thought that was a real special one. And probably I'd have to argue, probably the one thing that we really, really excel at is that social impact. Yeah. And I think that was recognised on that night. So that's a super exciting one. And we'd have to say thank you to Sailors Children for them. Because Sailors Children, who we have close ties with the office here at Quarry House, but they were the ones that nominated us for that. Yeah. So thank you to those guys for that. But I think that was the takeaway one for me. We've done a lot with the Matthew Good Foundation this year. They've helped drive some of the bits and pieces. Any sort of standout Matthew Good Foundation social impact things around people that we've done this year for any of you guys?
I think this is the first year I've really felt that we're starting to kind of have regular impact with certain charities or certain initiatives. And I feel like, especially through the volunteering days, we actually are starting to see more regularity to how we support, say, Yorkshire Wildlife Trust House at Spen, or some of the guys going back down to the RSPCA again. And it's starting to create that more recurring impact rather than just be one-off. Yeah. I think what's great to see is that we are starting to kind of build those relationships as well, and it's going wider than just someone seeing something that they think is a great initiative and supporting it. It's actually more long-lasting.
I suppose it's that, obviously we had the people in with about the hedgehogs.
Yeah.
Even before that was scheduled, people were already talking around the lunch tables about hedgehogs. It's a real big thing for people. So it's actually starting to see things that are important to people, and the foundation then bringing it into the business to have more information on.
It's funny, that one in particular, I think definitely has struck a chord. I think internally I would echo your sentiments. But I was out the other night at a dinner and someone came up to me and made a thank you to me because they're also a supporter. So even externally, I think that one in particular has really struck a chord. I think there's two that have stood out for me in terms of some of the wider social impact stuff we've made around people. The first would be Ganton School and the work that Ben and I have started doing with those guys, helping the Chop and Change programme. That I thought was been really rewarding so far, just to see the progress that Asa and the guys are making down there. But our summer barbecue was done by them for the first time, and we've had some great summer barbecues, and the people that have helped us put that on to date have been great, but I thought they took it to a different level.
I agree.
The food was exceptional, and the guys that got involved, waiting on doing the cooking.
I 100%
Great.
recommend it to anyone if you can get them involved, do it.
Yeah.
My Zach plays darts with one of the lads that was actually serving us.
Oh, really?
So when they went for the trials at the academy, I'm going to recognise you. You served me, and went up to and spoke to his parents and him, and the two of them are really good little friends now.
Okay.
It's being able to see them outside of that environment as well and doing something they're also passionate about. But he talks passionately at darts about he wants to be a chef and he wants to do these things, to give them that
It's
opportunity
creating
to
properly
share
brilliant
it.
pathways for people and
Yeah.
experience that they wouldn't be getting otherwise. I think that the work they're doing down there is superb. And the real standout, and that's why I think the bit resonates so strongly with us, is when we get around people that have strong visions for what they want to do with their initiative, makes it so easy to support. Sperm Point was one of those for you and I. Ganton's another one. There's other ones we've been involved in this year. I tell you another area that where it crosses over from people in the company and social impact this year, and that was Phil and Toasty.
Oh, yeah.
Rich, do you want to tell the viewers, listeners about the Toasty story?
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to tell me a bit of this because it was something that I wasn't actually proactively involved in, but John Good Group were effectively asked to sponsor one of the rats.
Correct.
So it's a rat trail, essentially. So what we've had over the past few years in Hull is a trail of different things and objects, one being the moths, and the other one being
We've had puffins.
toads, puffins, and now the next one on the line is rats. And Phil, I mean, talk about, I was going to say pig in, but mud, I'll say. Pig in mud. This was a great...
What about a rat near cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah, that do?
Rat rolling around in cheese, yeah. His ability in terms of design and execution and what he's done for our rat dedicated to tell the story of loosely linked to John Good Group and its heritage, phenomenal. And actually sat outside the building now, which actually tells the story, and got a lot of plaudits as well for the design of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so the appeal was for the Daisy Appeal, wasn't it? That's raising money for a local hospital here. And I think the total campaign raised just shy of 160,000 off the top of my head, which is amazing. A mixture of companies sponsoring the mischief of rats across the region, and we were one of 25, 35, something of that. And then we ultimately bought Toasty. And for anybody that ever comes to visit Quarry House, you will see it proudly displayed outside of our front door, and it's a special piece of art, isn't it? It's a genuine piece of art, and to be able to give our head of creative Phil the opportunity to do that, I thought was quite a nice way to tie those two things together. But as always, being John Good, we actually took it a step further, didn't we? Not only did we create the artwork, Megan and Phil then got together to create the story.
Yes, they did.
So there's actually a whole background book of Toasty and his adventures. And, you know, if anything sums up John Good, it's like, oh, we'll do some social impact. Oh, yeah, we'll do it as best as we can. Oh, and then we'll try and find another way to take it to another level. And probably for me, that's one of the standout bits where some of the values of the company's been reflected, some of the way that people think about applying their skill sets to social impact, and then ultimately driving a great result at the other end of it. And I mean, I believe they're looking for someone to take that initiative on, and I hope they do. You know, it's been one of those ones. I think it's one that we talked about when I first started. We wanted to get involved in, found a way to do that with the mischief of rats. And you know, if anyone's listening out there that wants to take on a real positive social impact story for Hull and East Yorkshire, that would definitely be one to pick up. And I'm sure the team would value anybody stepping forward to do that.
You could have like a trail of Ben Normans.
Do you reckon?
I was thinking Adam Walsh is just...
I think that would work. Yeah, I do think that would work. Yeah.
Just different scenarios of Ben being his finance career and...
I thought you were thinking the blank canvas.
I was
All the
thinking
different
of
stages of Ben.
like gnomes.
Can anyone else believe Ben's only 37? Because I'm not sure I do. Can we put a poll up on YouTube at this point and see if...
Yeah, when this goes out, can we not have a poll on screen?
Yeah, definitely. We're getting a thumbs up from behind the camera.
QR code on the thing to scan.
Is Ben 37?
Oh, God.
Right, what else are we talking about, people? I tell you one thing that happened and we talked about a lot last year, which has completely disappeared from our vocabulary this year, and it's the word chimp. We talked for a good 10 minutes last year about the word of the year being chimp, and everybody's chimps had come out and all of these different things, and it had become part of the sort of narrative, the conversation, one of those real frequent words around the business, disappeared this year. What do you think that is? Is everyone far more relaxed now and no one annoys anybody else? Is that what's happened, or is it
Sorry.
I think it's moved on from chimp though, and I think actually people are
just pissed off?
Triggered.
I think it's more people actually starting to kind of actually talk more of the language within print itself. I think kind of chimp was the one that it was the word that I think was probably recognised before print from people who read the Steve Peters book.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of quite a go-to. Whereas I think people are now talking more about their kind of their numbers and the triggers and things rather than actually saying chimp. I think there's actually becoming more distinction of chimp isn't print, it's actually just a byproduct, is my gut.
Yeah.
And that's where my head is as well. It's all about the print profile, the numbers, using those numbers to understand each other. But also from my team's perspective, we're encouraging people to read people's print profiles and understand more about them, whether it's a conversation they've got to have or feedback, etc. It's really getting people into that print. We've now got our print numbers on the bottom of our emails, so people know who you are and can click and go read on my profile to understand more about me and how to interact and communicate with me. So I think doing those things to embed it and move it away from chimp is helping people because they're taking that time. And we've had scenarios where we are using that profile to help with situations for people as well.
So internally, within the John Good group, people might recognise what print means. Anyone that's outside the group might not. Rach, you want to just give us a 20 seconds on what print is?
Yeah, so print, it's a form of psychometric testing, but it's all about the underneath of a person rather than the exterior, what you see. It's that unconscious motivators, understanding the best self of a person, and it's driven by your experience in life, which has created the person that you are, what you say, what you do. And the print reflects that and provides you with a shadow self and a best self. And our aim is to be in best self and trying to keep away from the shadow, which comes back to the chimp or the trigger. We don't want to be triggering to get somebody into the worst self. Or so it's that in a kind of a nutshell.
Okay.
So it's a bit like an iceberg. It's that underneath.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we've done this year, understanding people a bit more, is we've started to look at how we deploy training in different ways, and we'll maybe come on to some different training that we've undertaken this year. Were you guys on retreat this year? Was it late this year or last year? You were this year. So talk to us about your retreat experience.
I think it was just like you. I think so I was on the retreat with Tash from CT. And I think kind of we both probably got slightly different things out of it in the sense of a number of things we did on the retreat because we've worked with T2 a lot over the years. A lot of it was reinforcement for me, which was really beneficial. But I think for Tash, a lot of it was actually exposure to new as well, and kind of it brought together kind of a lot of the stuff we've done of kind of print attributes, even bits around like radical candor and stuff. But also kind of some of the team building and
I'm maintaining the 2 a.m. club.
Yes.
Am I the only one that's not been on retreat yet?
Well, you were supposed to go and I went.
You were going.
I took your place.
Yeah. Okay, so I need to go on retreat. Is
You
what
missed
we're
the
saying.
retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things. I'm sure you guys kind of were before I went were the ones saying if you ever get the opportunity, take it. I think I'd definitely echo that.
Yeah,
of
okay.
it, just from that experience of something different.
Yeah.
And kind of pushing yourself in places that you kind of get there and suddenly you're around a load of people who you've never met and you have to work as a team in different scenarios. Experiences such as the whitewater rafting and stuff, just putting you out your comfort zone and how do you work together with people in a situation you would never find yourself.
Yeah. Okay. What other training have we done this year then?
That's a really
what are
good
the
question.
topics? We've done a coaching training. So Julie Ormsby went through that and got her coaching qualification. I think that's something we're looking to roll out more in 2026.
Yeah, I went on the Talented Women's programme.
You did. Bit of a game changer for you, if I remember rightly.
Megan went on the FEO
Entrepreneur
Within.
Yes.
And actually, I would say Megan, bit of a step change for Megan after that.
I was very impressed with her. I already knew she was very organised, knew her stuff. But seeing her at that presentation at the stadium, the final presentation by all the participants on that course, not only did the actual presentation itself physically look and feel stood out compared to everybody else, but her content and delivery, she stood out like a sore thumb in a good way. And actually, I caught up with her last week in a one-to-one, and she said that's the best thing she's been on, because that's made her realise that she does have the confidence and the knowledge to be able to deliver a project that's linked to supply chain or whatever that looks like. So, yeah, I actually thought it was an amazing thing for her. Yeah. Really good.
And she's been one of our stars this year.
She has.
There's a handful of people across the organisation that have really excelled this year. And I would say Megan has to fall into that category. She's some of the work she's done around padlocks and other bits and pieces this year has been really quite special to see. Yeah. Good, great. Talk to us about your experience then.
Well, I don't know if I can.
You can share a little bit.
Yeah, because it was a very different experience, not one that I've experienced before. So it's all about... So you went to the training, you talk about kind of the positive things that have happened in the last 12 months and kind of unpicking them to come out with the kind of key words that kind of describe you. And then you focused the following day on the words that the experience that's not been the best experience for you and kind of why that was. And obviously discussing that in the group and people listening to what you say to come out with this kind of picture of who you really are. And for me, it kind of helped me to be comfortable with me. Because there was moments, we've all probably got them, where things will frustrate you and you think the worst of you's coming out. But actually, for me, it wasn't the worst of me coming out. That's who I am. I go into a bit of a lioness, protect my pride, because I want to make things better and do better. And it helped me to kind of be comfortable with that and not to be scared that comes out. It's just my inside and my passion and everything else, and it's not a negative piece. And actually, I bumped into one of the girls at the business awards the other night. And she was there, and her, the things that she spoke about and how it's changed her back in her business. It was like a different person.
Brilliant.
Talking to, and it's just from it was very small, very intimate. A lot of purple stuff going on, and it was 4 weeks after we'd completed, we got a purple envelope through the post, which is our statement that we'd written about ourselves, loads of pictures of the event. So it was just really, it was just really different. And actually it was quite nice. Obviously the retreat's one aspect, but this was more me really getting comfortable with who I am.
And that's the real value of proper training, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's where you genuinely have a moment that changes you, whether it's a way you think, it's a way you feel, a way you react. If we can be creating those sorts of experiences, you'd have to say we're starting to deliver on some of our people objectives, right? To deliver really good personal and professional development opportunities. Speaking of life-changing type events, Live the Dream this year. We actually had some people go on Live the Dream and live their dream, didn't we? Does someone want to tell me that story?
Well, people should know who they are.
So we've had...
Put her on the spot, because Rich couldn't remember.
I think we should just say to Rich, can you know?
I know it was,
so we've had Chloe that's gone to Australia to live her dream of surfing on Bondi Beach, and then we've had the other Chloe that went to Bali to wash the elephants. Yes.
So it's brilliant to have delivered two of those
We've
already.
Delivered two.
Yeah. Who have we got left to deliver to?
So we've got
then?
Tracy and we've got Ken.
Yeah.
So Tracy wanted to go and see the Northern Lights in a glass
so cool.
dome.
Yeah.
But I think that was the night it was the Christmas party last year. Unfortunately, we all had to step in and pretend we were you.
Yeah.
And actually, it was great because we had CT there. It was their first Christmas party with us at Saltmarsh.
They were under strict orders not to drink very much last year.
Yeah.
I think that's changed this year, is my understanding.
But actually, I think there was a few people in that room that had the same dream or bucket list. So there was a lot of, oh my gosh, it's me, as we were kind of narrowing it down.
Really?
And it was actually nice to hear it wasn't Chloe and it wasn't Travel.
Yeah.
It was actually... Dan and it was Tracy, but Tracy and Charlotte both had the same dream.
Oh, really?
So it was a bit,
you feel for Charlotte,
you feel awful,
that,
yeah. So I think that the atmosphere and the whole build up to it was great. And seeing Tracy's face when she'd won, she was just
made up,
yeah. And that's the bit where when you announce it and you see that impact and what it means to people, it's that it sounds really I know HR's fluffy at times, but it's that fuzzy, warm kind of moment that we can make these things happen for people that they probably won't get to do.
Yeah.
Um,
And we have our next draw at our Christmas party.
Yes.
Do we know how many entrants we've got yet?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
No. At the minute,
still
we're pushing to make sure people are.
When's the deadline?
No, I'm on the
Oh,
spot.
come on, Rach. Yeah.
I've got a menopausal brain.
Soon.
Coming
the answer
soon.
is
Well, the
very
11th of
soon.
December is when the Christmas party.
Oh, so it's the 10th then.
Probably next week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And but I suppose this is what happens when Chloe's not here. Keeps us organised
I
in
know,
relation
yeah.
to this stuff, doesn't she?
I'm like asking questions today. Do you know the answer to this? Oh no.
We need to find that golden hat.
Have
we got the golden hat?
It's out there. We've got the golden hat.
And we're doing the draw live this time, aren't we?
We're doing it live, yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously
Okay.
being the official assistant to the events director of the Christmas party, I've helped pull it together. Because
Have
remember
you?
last year's podcast, I volunteered to do the Christmas party.
You did, and well done.
And you
Well
got
done for
Julie Ormsby to
delegating
do
to
it
everybody
again.
else.
Sound of a good delegator.
Yeah, okay. Don't ever do that again. You look like you were milking a cow or dancing like Trump. One of the two. That's the one.
Am I blushing again?
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about Planet.
He's not eaten for about 38 hours.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
true. You
delusional.
are fasting, aren't you? At the
Yeah,
moment?
yeah. Don't know why, don't know, but I'm just doing it for discipline reasons.
Okay, so by the time people see this, will you still be fasting, or will you be back eating? At
I'll
this
be eating
point?
McDonald's every
Probably
day.
Well, yeah,
passed
okay.
out.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Any reason why you are fasting?
Because it's supposed to kill your bad cells and it attacks the bad cells within your body when you're cleansing. Do I feel that? Not really.
Yeah.
Do I want a McDonald's? Yes. So I'll keep going until tomorrow lunchtime and then probably just don't ever do it again.
Nice. Okay, moving on. Let's talk Planet. So I actually don't feel we've moved the dial lots in terms of new activity this year when it comes to our planetary bits and pieces. We've had some good results from this year in terms of the work we have done, but there's not been a huge amount of new initiatives around Planet this year. So our intensity ratio has dropped again very significantly. So for viewers, listeners, that's all about how much carbon do you produce relative to your headcount or to your turnover. We had a really good drop in 2023. We've had a further good drop in 2024. That should drop again in 2025. We're able to grow this business without producing significantly more carbon, which is how that intensity ratio is made up. So I think we're doing a relatively good job of trying to keep a control on carbon whilst doing the growth piece, and we'll come to performance later on. But in terms of new initiatives, there's not been a huge amount. We've made an investment at Royal Dutch Chambers in Grimsby. Ben, do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
So we bought the Royal Dutch Chambers building last year, and kind of as part of the development work there for the maritime business moving in and joining Arthur Smith there. We've invested kind of in line with group values into solar, EV charging, etc., to kind of make sure it is as carbon efficient as it can be.
And is that, I think we've now got just one building left that's not got solar on it. Has Cooper House got solar yet? Because I think just about everything else now has now got solar.
Yeah.
So we are definitely making progress in that regard, and trying to live to the values of when we've got company assets, and we're trying to do bits and pieces and make sure they're as green as possible. You mentioned EV charging there. Most of the fleet is moved over now.
So all the fleet, all the cars are now all hybrid or EV,
Okay.
and we are kind of now moving more to EV. So,
And what's been that change? So is that a mileage distance thing now that's getting better?
I think it's people just seeing, because kind of people in the group have already made a jump to EV and kind of are just talking about kind of the experiences of just in a positive manner. I think kind of some of the guys who historically have had, I suppose, kind of concerns around the move to EV are starting to just relax more, losing some of that range anxiety, and actually just more comfortable with the idea of, and I think it's just part, I suppose, culturally within the group as well. They are kind of aligned to what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So they equally see the benefit of, and not kind of want to go a different way, but it's also just from a overall benefits tax point for them, it works as well. So it's kind of win-win.
Should be said, this is being recorded before the budget.
Yep.
That might all change in the next few days. But right now, there's a benefit.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. I think, we're also seeing some of the salary sacrifice options we brought in. Octopus has been taken up a little bit more. Is it in the last year you've moved to your EV, or would you have been in your BMW this time last year?
This time last year, yeah. So just over a year now with it. Yeah.
And how have you found the switch?
Absolutely fine. I mean, Ben mentioned range anxiety. That was something that I was worried about because during my nature of my role, I do travel a bit with Liverpool and whatnot. I found it absolutely fine, to be quite honest with you, and I kind of enjoy it as well. And there's been no problems around charging. The infrastructure's there. And ultimately, if people are thinking about doing it, I actually think it's a good move. And actually a lot cheaper. If you realise what I used to drive before I drove the EV, which was a stupid car, it was very expensive, but now very cost efficient. And not only that, it's actually a nice car to drive as well.
I was gonna say, I think all the cars now are just nice as well, aren't they? There is just a base standard now that I think is appealing to people.
Yeah. So the other big piece of work we've done in this area this year, though, that we're yet to see results, has been our climate impact assessment. So it's something that Ben and I have been working on. Ben, do you want to give us a little flavour for what that is and what that potentially means?
So we've worked with RSM for the last few years to understand our carbon impact. And one of the things we've taken this year is to take that one step further and start to really understand kind of what potential climate impact for our various operations could be. And that is looking at kind of physical infrastructure, kind of looking at kind of global, kind of what's happening in the world and how that can impact upon general performance of the businesses. So you look at kind of, we own a number of properties, of which a number are near water, the docks, and kind of with future forecast rising sea levels, what might that mean, and kind of depending on different scenarios, what options may that give us? It's kind of allowing us to understand our business in a new way that we probably haven't really understood before. And actually, it sounds strange to kind of say short, medium, long term, as in kind of 20, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. But actually, if we're planning for the long-term future of the group, what choices should we be looking at, and what can we do now for the long term of the group?
Well, when you look at take physical assets, so typically these risks are split into physical and transitional. If you look at some of our warehouses, we're building these and thinking 20, 30, 40 years, aren't we, in terms of the lifespan of that investment when we make it. That's about right. So then you have to start thinking, well, what is the weather pattern going to be like, or what is the sea level rise going to be like, or forecasted to be like over that same period? And if we can't all of a sudden get insurance, or that there's flooding, or there's any of these other risks.
It's even the kind of the conditions for the guys or the people working in the warehouse. Rising temperatures, what does that mean from a health and safety point?
Middle of the summer, if we're touching 40 degrees, what temperatures it get to in there. It also has an impact on what potentially we store. And that's the transitional risk. That's the interesting one, I think, for us in our businesses, is transitional risk. So let's take India. So we'll get into the detail later, but we've got a leisure business that has a specialism in India, and we are brilliant at delivering Indian tour experiences with our partners out there. But if the temperature's set to rise by 3, 4, 5 degrees in India, that's making some periods of the year where people currently travel is not going to be accessible. That either pushes people into a different time frame to travel, it might change the demographics of people that want to travel and when, or it pushes people to other parts of the world. Never mind the local climate impact in that region at that time. And all these changes have an impact on us, whether we like it or not. They are going to start to change the way that people act and behave. So whilst it's still very early, and yes, to Ben's point, we are looking a long way down the road, it does start to give you a bit of a clue about how and why we should invest and where we should invest and the sort of choices we want to make. So I think it's, when are we due that report?
We're due with that in the next few weeks. Kind of as a first draft, looking to finalise it in the new year. And then very much aligning that to, we obviously have the group risk register, and it'll kind of then perform into that and become a living, breathing document. I think that's the key bit of doing these pieces of work, is they become living, breathing, not just the thing you've done it and that sits in a drawer.
Forgotten. I think there's a wider thing about sustainability. At the point we're recording of this, sustainability has dropped down people's priorities list, generally speaking, and that's partly the political mood music around the world, and we won't get into that, but it's not necessarily have the same profile as it might have had 3 to 5 years ago. But my view on this is a really simple one. Climate change is happening. We need to be doing the right things, and we need to be showing that the right things are possible regardless of the size of company you are. And I think John Good is a good example of that. And regardless of the wider mood music, we'll continue to do that. It has already proven beneficial that we are doing things properly and seriously in a well thought through way, not only in terms of being able to talk about our values and demonstrate our values, but when it comes to cold, hard performance. We win tenders and we have opportunities to speak with customers and clients and actually suppliers as well, because we take these things seriously and we're able to demonstrate it. And in a few years' time, when the mood music changes and everybody's back interested, and it will happen, we'll have a track record to say we've been doing it for a decade. And everyone else will be scrambling around trying to find a way to demonstrate at that point that they can be they can think about the impact on their environment, or they can think about the social impact. We've got Matthew Good Foundation, and we will be streets ahead by sticking to our values and doing the right things now. So it doesn't really matter what the mood music is. We'll demonstrate our values. And for me, I genuinely believe we're going to continue to create competitive advantage for ourselves by carrying on doing the right things regardless of what's happening out there. And maybe that's a little bit of a soapbox rant, but that is genuinely how I feel about the stuff that we're doing. And yes, it does lead us nicely into performance, but it definitely has been helping us create performance. The award we won, ESG, because of the work we do. We're asked regularly to speak on panels because of that. When we do tenders, we're getting full marks on these things. And increasingly, tenders are weighted towards things like, do you understand your carbon impact? Do you understand the social impact? What social benefit do you create when you trade with us? We can demonstrate all of that. Other companies need to get hold of it. And if they don't, fine, we'll take the advantage out of it. But that's not what we're saying. People should do these things. We'd like to help them do those things. It's one of the things we've talked about for Methods, isn't it? Helping people tell their stories. But anyway, let's part Planet for now. Let's talk about performance. So, Ben, do you want to give us some numbers? 24, how 25 shaping up?
I think 24 was, we talked last year, was very much if you took 22, 23, 24, we'd been on a growth journey. And I think we've seen some of the awards this year come through of the historic performance of the group and the sustained growth we've had. It was the Yorkshire Fastest 50. We ranked, I think it was 7th.
Yeah.
So we've had that growth journey for a number of years. I think, and 25 is definitely the continuation of that. And we will be getting on towards double the size of on a profitability point where we were last year.
Yeah.
And seeing turnover getting close to double as well. Now, some of that is organic, some of that's through acquisition. But it's doing it as we've already talked around people and planet. And I think the fact that we are seeing that continued improvement performance while still doing all the right things, I think is credit to the whole team of what we've been able to achieve. Yeah.
And just to put some numbers around that, we're going to get into the 90 millions-ish roughly turnover this year.
Yep.
At the high 80s, low 90s, we're expecting at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a very, very different business to the business than we did our first Chiefs podcast over in Westcott 2 years ago now.
Yeah, we were talking about 20 million turnover back in 22. And
so we're sort of 3-4 times the size of we were. And the good news is we're seeing that drop through to the bottom line as well. It's not just it's sitting there and we're driving some sales numbers at no benefit. Yeah. We're seeing that drop through. And again, for anyone that doesn't know the John Good Group, the big benefit of us driving profitability is that it goes to one of two places, back into the development of the business for the 7th generation, which is great news for our people, our suppliers and our clients. We are here to stay. Or it's good news for social and environmental impact because we do the work through the Matthew Good Foundation. So there's a huge benefit to this group being successful. and that and driving that profitability ends up in great places. It's not ending up in Porsches and aeroplanes. It's ending up in really impactful places. Rach, what's been your performance highlight win of the year? Does anything stand out for you?
Performance. I think it's starting to see padlocks.
You've just stolen Rich's answer.
Oh,
well
sorry.
played. Well played.
Appreciate the fangirl.
Yeah, I thought I'd I think
Why padlocks?
I think obviously it's a business that's been it was Tim's business before, and obviously Rich has taken it, and it's very different. It's to what we do in terms of online, and actually seeing the effort that's going in from Rich and from Megan and Megs and Phil and the team and Miranda really starting to drive that to really kind of push the performance of that business forward, and hearing you shout, we've just got this or we've just got that. It's really nice to hear, especially when you're sat in the office, because you don't always get to, you see the numbers, but you don't get to hear the wins coming from the teams because they're all over in different places. So I think that for me has been just seeing that journey over the last 12, 18 months.
There was definitely something nice about having a business on the top floor in Quarry House and hearing the performance.
Yeah.
We are slightly removed from some of the other businesses by just where we're located. So that I think is a really nice thing to feel.
Yeah, it is, because you don't
get it elsewhere.
You don't get it elsewhere, no.
And that's maybe something we've talked often about. How do we bring performance out more in all the businesses back to Quarry House? I think that's something we've got to fix in 26. We've talked about dashboards and highlights a little bit more, something we've got to do. Rich, I'll ask you the same question. Growth, performance, win from this year?
I mean, padlocks is the easiest thing to say. It's an even keel this year, and for the right reasons. I think what you don't see behind the scenes is the infrastructure that we're putting in place for the business going forward into the next 5, 6, 7 years. Around that, which is what it needed and required for sustainable growth. The initiative around us being able to enter new online marketplaces has never been done before. So the likes of B&Q, Tesco's, Mountain Range, all that kind of good stuff online. We're going to be selling in these channels, which is only going to help the growth of the business and actually expose the brand as well. Nothing but padlocks. The more I get into it, the more I can't get my head around the fact that so many padlocks are sold. But not only that.
And why aren't you selling that many?
Oh.
All
by myself. Is it bad videos?
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, he's doing very well. Just let me clarify that. Massive piece of backtrack. I've never seen him look so deflated.
I've got skin like a rhino, don't worry. No, but from the projects that we do get involved with B2B side, so there's those businesses that actually do buy a number of padlocks. Some of the transactions are quite high, and that's quite a big responsibility to get it right for that business. Not only that, getting them there in time on full. Miranda does a wonderful job making sure that happens, and then just seeing Megan come out of her shell slightly and into her own really when it comes to supply chain. I think the business not only is great for the diversification of the group, but actually I think it actually helps the skill sets as well around the table that help driving that business, which sits in the services division. So for me, yes, it's performance, but it's also the performance of individuals around that collectively that helps drive it, and will continue to drive it over the next 10 years. That brand will be completely different in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I like to shine a light on a few different parts of the business. I think in terms of some of the wins from this year, or some of my highlights anyway. Let's talk maritime to start with. So it'll be in the back end of last year into the new year, but we re-signed a major contract. In fact, we re-signed a couple of major contracts that gives a couple of our businesses some stability and longevity. So there's a lot of credit there that goes to the likes of David Smith and Steve Pullen and others. So I think that was really rewarding to see. Paul Haste won some new business up on Teesside this year. Again, nice to see some new business landing in. And, Mark Mullins down at Bay has had a strong year. I think the maritime business as a whole's probably got some headwinds coming just with some wider industry dynamics. But in terms of taking the opportunity that's been presented to them this year, I'd have to say that the maritime, from an expectation and delivering ahead of expectation point, have got to probably be my standout performers of the year. So I think they deserve a bit of a special mention. Let's talk TEPS. I mean, we were finishing off the warehouse last year, and this year was getting back to operational efficiency, and we've seen the bounce back in the financial performance at TEPS as well. That's been another real pleasing thing to see. You know, those sort of the businesses that, you know, maybe not had the big growth, but performing really solidly, and contributing good profitability to the wider group. So I think those have been two highlights for me. And then I'd say the third is born out of wins and losses. You know, our travel business, we talk a lot about the acquisition of CT and, you know, the development of the business that we bought in the year before and some of the progress we're making around people and performance. But it's really clearly now a marketing-led organisation. I think it's as clear as ever that we're not going to be a sales-led organisation. We want to create brand, we want to create great customer experience, and we want to tell compelling stories about how we're going to look after people from door to door. And some of the campaign work that's gone on this year has been really exciting to see. The quality is exceptional. But I'd balance that with some of the results, both good and bad. So Q3 was a record leads, inbound values period. Is that right? I've not got that wrong. New business and new business traded. So, you know, we are getting that stuff right, and it is helping create opportunities for the teams. The flip side's also true. We've entered a couple of new marketplaces, and I'd say leisure is probably the best example of that this year. And we've learned a lot this year, and not all of it's worked. You know, let's be big enough to own it. Yeah. Not all of it has worked in the way we thought we would. But I also think for the first time, we will be able to demonstrate in data and in results where we know it's been done well, recorded well, the data in's good, the data out's good, mostly. That actually that doesn't work anymore, and we can say with confidence things don't work. And lose and learn is as valuable as the wins. And so I would actually say the other highlight for me is just the rigor we've put around some of our marketing to do that lose and learn or take the wins this year. I'd say that's my other standout. And again, that's credit to Nathan, Layla, you know, the team that have worked on that. Yeah. Would you echo that?
I would, yeah. And leisure is in terms of an industry in B2C, that's a new thing for me because I've been predominantly B2B over the past 15 years. And the testing that we've taken that company through over the past 12 months has been rigorous, and it's to get it right essentially for that next step in growth. And I think we know when we meet in December for that strategy meeting that we are very confident where we're going to take the business from a marketing go-to-market perspective. So yeah, you're right. We lose, but we're losing moving forward, which I think is a really good way of putting it. And I think Leela's done a sterling job. She is the best way to describe Leela is a bit of a bull in a china shop in a good way. She's getting stuff done. She's testing it. It's not working. She moves on, and she's got this conclusion. That's really going to help for 26 moving forward.
And I think the outlook for the travel business is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a good future ahead of that travel business. We had to make some changes and do some other bits and pieces this year. And this year was always going to be a foundational year where we needed to try and align things and integrate bits and pieces. But on the back of that, we've got a new name. Got some new names, in fact.
Yeah,
for our travel
we have.
Business. Do you want to announce those to the world? Or are we not allowed yet, actually?
It depends when this goes out.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe we're not allowed, actually.
Yeah,
watch this space.
We're embargoed. We're embargoed.
Yeah, we are embargoed, aren't we? Can't talk about that. Bleep. Okay, so let's change tack slightly and let's start thinking about 2026. So we finished on performance, so let's start there. What do you think the sort of biggest, boldest move that we could make next year is going to make the biggest difference in your own areas, right? Or just more generally in the wider business? What's the big thing that we can do next year that's going to be the step change and help us on our journey?
I think the irony of this is actually having a year where we're not doing a lot.
The bold move is do nothing. We're not very good at that, though, are we?
I did write that down.
For us, I suppose, if you look at the last few years, there's always been something ongoing. Yeah, I think actually having a year where we really spend the time to really fully consolidate, make sure the integration goes right, the kind of really focus on performance. Actually, I think for us is probably quite bold to actually allow ourselves to almost stand still a little bit and actually make sure we do get performance right rather than just doing the next thing.
Yeah. Rach?
It's the same. It's about focusing rather than looking for the next shiny new project. We've done that over the last 3 years. We've kind of set everything up that we need to do, and now it's about focusing on, right, let's get some career paths in. Let's look at how we kind of drive that performance from a people perspective within our business, still remembering the 3 Ps and not losing that people and planet piece when we are doing that, but actually being really good and delivering something really great for everybody around career paths, salary bandings, etc. All the things that are coming out of our investors and people report that we've received. So it's kind of focusing on those rather than doing something new and shiny for the next year, because that's what people want.
Okay. Rich?
Mine's quite the opposite.
Do loads of things. At a really shallow level.
Shiny padlocks.
So obviously where Nothing But Padlock sits within the services division, there are going to be, and we can say this now because it will be launched in 7 days' time. So officially our B2B go-to-market consultancy will be launched, which will sit within services, which is methods, specifically working with B2B businesses, family businesses. That is something that's going to grow this year. It has its own budget, which is great. And I'm actually
Ben. Thank him publicly.
Cheers. Right. Thanks a lot, Ben.
No pressure.
just shave off another 50 grand on that. That'd be great. Thank you. But that's a shiny thing. But it's not a shiny thing because ultimately it sits within our expertise when it comes to myself and Phil, and I'd even include the likes of you and Ben and Rich in this because we can pull on everyone's skill sets. But that is another shiny thing, but something that actually will bring a lot of substance to profitability within the business because there's hardly no overhead within that company. And there's ultimately other initiatives that are flying out of Nothing But, which allows us to test and trial other products and potential services within that remit. So it kind of is going against what Ben and Rich have said, but it will be a controlled delivery. So we're not actually, as you just put then, not going too shallow. We're actually going to go a bit deeper than shallow.
Deeper than shallow.
Semi-shallow.
Thanks for that.
And
this is sort of world-class marketing advice your clients are going to get.
I think it was the big grin on his face when he said how happy he was with his.
Yeah, you are. 3 times.
But on a serious
It's
note,
as red as them
I'm going really
reindeers.
red now. I can feel my face burning. Yes, I've lost my track now. But what I am going to say is the services division is going to play a poignant part in diversification when it comes to the profitability of the group. The travel division is becoming a bit of a behemoth, and that's on a growth journey in itself. But actually, we've got an opportunity now to grow a new division, which actually can counteract and be a bit more of a diversification in other areas to give us that other boost of profitability.
Yeah. It's a nice counterbalance to travel if we get the growth in services.
Absolutely,
for sure.
yeah.
So my thing is, actually I think it's probably a summary of all your things. I'm not going to ask you who's tired and who's not because we've had that topic for the last 2 years and we've all said we're knackered, and if I ask you all, you'll all say you're knackered. So we're not going there. Because next year, if I asked you, you'd all say you're knackered again. But next year, we need to be knackered because we've got a handful of things done brilliantly. Yeah. Rather than we're knackered because we've run around doing 20 different things. And so I think that is the summary of everybody's. And I think that none of us are going to change. We're always going to be busy and we're always going to throw ourselves into anything. So we've accepted that now because we've tried to change it for the last 3 years and we failed. But it's about just making sure that the effort that we are putting in is that. That's the first point. The second point around that is making sure that we're delegating properly. We've got, the headcount is... putting in the spot. 220 odd. Yeah, we've got a lot of good people in this business that are really, really capable. So we need to keep pushing that accountability and some of that work down to those guys because they're more than capable. And actually, it's our job to build the future leaders, and they can't be future leaders unless they have these big challenges and these big tasks to take on, and they see if they can swim or not. And we support them when they sink a little bit and we help them get back on track. But we've got to do that a bit more. Can't always be about us 4. It was easy when it was 80 people. It's a different thing today at 220 odd.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to close out with one question. What is your wish for 2026? And I'm going to start with Rich.
I've just noticed that the fireplace has just gone out.
You want to just like go
That's like the timing of it's just repeating itself. Then that was actually, as you said that delivered the question, it went on. So the edit is going to be really easy.
Yeah, so just go from like.
What is your wish for 2026?
Yeah, go for that. Yeah.
Fine. So, one question: what is your wish for 2026?
Have I got to go first? Is that why you're looking at me?
I'm looking at you. Yeah.
The one wish is to, and I've mentioned the services division, but I actually want to. My wish is by the end of 26 that division has started to gain momentum in growth, infrastructure, and actually starting to contribute a nice amount onto the group's profitability. That's my wish for next year.
Okay. Rach?
Interesting. I was like, is it personal or professional?
You go whichever way you like. I mean, this is a work podcast, but yeah, you talk about your whole life.
Okay, my wish is I hope I win Live the Dream this Christmas party.
I'd like to win it, yeah. I'd like to go swim with the pigs. My wish is to deliver the career paths
Okay.
for everybody, because they want that. They're crying for it. They want to know, where can I go? How can I get there?
Mm-hmm.
And I think even just delivering that and kind of using that to drive the performance at the same time, I think it'll have a massive impact on the organisation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be a great piece of work to do as well,
Yeah.
for the team as well, to be really getting into the different areas, really understanding the roles, breaking it down. What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
What have we got to hit? But then for the employee to be able to see that and know where they can go.
Yeah.
I think that would be a big thing for me,
Okay.
to have that land.
Thank you.
I'm going to steal yours actually, and seeing the team do a few big things brilliantly, because I think that will really give us the platform for the ambitions we have over the next 3 to 4 year period, and build a platform for the growth we genuinely believe we can achieve.
Yeah.
But I think we need to see that next year to really create that solid foundations to go again.
Okay.
What's your dream,
Yeah.
Adam?
My wish.
Sorry, dream or wish?
He's
Could be
only,
dream.
he's only working 11 months next year. So
Yeah, it's
Oh,
true.
that's a good shout.
That is true.
Imagine going for 4 weeks away to Australia.
Slacking. Yeah. Thanks for telling all the burglars in the Hessel area that I'm away on holiday for a month. But anyway.
And his address is.
Yeah.
Drives.
Yeah. My wish. I would like everything to be less volatile. I think there's been a lot of change externally. The world's a more volatile, changeable place than it has been. And I would say equally, we've had a lot of change in this last year internally. People, bits and pieces around people, some of the performance stuff, some of the change management stuff in terms of integration of some of these businesses. So everywhere I look, everything feels a little bit volatile and changeable. And I think for us to get back to what we had really built pre-2025 was a bit more settled, even though there's a lot of setup going, a bit more settled, and we knew organically what we were doing and how we were going to move things forward. But that was built from a sort of a more steady environment, externally and internally. And if I could have anything next year, it would be for stuff just to settle, get solid again. 2025 sees the end of Fast Forward. Fast Forward was our strategic period, 22 through to 25. It was the thing that we brought in when we started the new journey at John Good Group way back in 2022. We're moving to Traction. Traction's all about the things that we've implemented now, making some progress and seeing them develop, hence Traction. I want to see that come through next year, because if we can see the right signals and we're going in the right direction by the time we're sat here this next year, then Traction's going to be really, really quite exciting. So that's my last question, but I think the last few years we've done this. Have you guys got any questions for me? This is the chance to put me on the spot before we close out our 2025 Chiefs review.
Can't even say who's got the best jumper
Yeah.
this time.
Ben, you look like you've got a question, because that gives me time to think then.
Put me on the spot. Come on, ask me the question, the question you've always wanted to ask.
So about 18 months ago, you made a promise to a number of the leadership team that if we got over 1.5 million in profit, we would go to Ibiza.
Yep.
When are we going?
Well, have we done it yet?
We'll do this year.
Right, so after this year we'll go. Yeah, that's fine. So LA, don't know if you're listening to this, start working out a group trip to Ibiza. That's fine.
And get in touch and I'll tell you your budget.
Ben needs to accrue it now. Yeah, that's fine. That's what we said we were going to do. Yeah, we need to deliver on that. It's good. It's a good journey.
It is been a good journey.
Who's next?
I've got a question. So you mentioned that the fact that we've gone through the fast forward period now, coming to an end,
Yeah.
and then we move into traction. So looking back at fast forward, what's been the highlight of those 3 years for you? Because ultimately you set the strategy, and then what's been the low?
The highlight is the team that's been built by a mile. So performance will come and go. We'll always deliver on our values around people and planet. It's just part of the company's DNA, so that goes without question. We do that stuff without thinking about it. We put a lot of thought into it, but we do it second nature. But I come to work every day and enjoy being around the people and the challenge that those people bring. And more than that, I genuinely believe we've got a load of people that are really good culturally, and it makes the job genuinely pleasurable working with people that you just work with. But the good news is that that's not just like a top floor of Quarry House thing. And I hope it's not just my role, but wherever I go in this company, I see people applying really good skill sets, working hard, trying to do their best every single day. And we've seen the fruits of the labour. But sometimes we won't see the fruits of the labour. We've had a great 3 or 4 runs from a performance financial perspective. We will have a bad year. We've grown year on year on year. I mean, we'll be going for the 5th year of growth in a row, right? Companies don't do that typically. We'll have a bad year. We'll have a backward step, but that won't matter because the team we've built will work it out. We'll get through the problems and they'll go again. Fundamentally, people plus process equals performance. The best bit about that is the people. The worst bit, what's the worst bit been? I thought we would be more diversified by this time. It was one of the key pillars within Fast Forward that we would do more diversification. And I think we've tried pretty hard. We did the Ventures Fund and that's not really worked in the way we'd like it. We've talked about launching our own things, but that's going to happen in traction now rather than Fast Forward. We tried, my God, did we try to find some businesses that were going to help with the diversification plan, but ultimately they failed. So the one downside would be, that's the one area where I committed to that I don't think I've broadly delivered on. I think we've done a lot right, but that would be the one I'd have to put a pin in and say we've not really done that. But that's why the services thing that we're getting to latterly and some of the things that we're talking about for next year excites me because that gives us some of that diversification. So yeah, I'd have to say that was my negative of Fast Forward. Rach, last but not least, most time to think of your question.
I'll get the words out now. So what's been the one biggest moment where you've really had to roll your eyes, like your eye-rolling moment this year?
Oh, don't ask me that.
This year specifically?
This year,
When we all walked in with these jumpers on.
Yeah, actually, that's it. That's perfect. My biggest eye roll moment. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I can't think of an eye roll moment.
Come on.
Not that I can talk about on camera. No, I can't think of one.
Just another question quickly.
Who's
in charge when you're away?
Ben. It's simple as Ben. Right, well, I think on that farce of an ending, should we end it there?
Just didn't answer the question.
No, I definitely didn't answer your question.
Until next year.
You have to be put on the spot.
Yeah, I did.
Full hospital pass incoming.
Or will you be at the Christmas party this year?
Who knows?
That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Will you
Well,
make
if
it?
the sequence is right, I will be. So I missed the first one, got to the second one, missed last year. I should be there this year. But the next few weeks will tell because I always get ill around this time of year. So we'll see.
So the Christmas party that had what most want to do next year, make sure we book it, because then when he's sick,
Yeah, exactly.
we can send some loads of pictures.
Well, we can book it at a hospital.
Good idea. Book at A&E.
A&E, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Touch wood. The
That's
end.
it. That'll do. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. We certainly did. There's been a lot going on in the last 12 months, and there's certainly a lot planned for the next 12. But until then, have a great Christmas, an incredibly prosperous 2026, and I will see you in the new year.